Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I want to talk to you about why I think the criminal charge of conspiracy should be done away with completely. Okay? So for those of you that are not familiar with this type law, basically what conspiracy charges allow the government and local law enforcement to do are arrest people without them actually having committed a crime. They created these conspiracy laws so as to be able to incarcerate and punish people who, for whatever reason, were able to evade capture with regard to whatever their criminal activity was. They couldn't get caught. The government couldn't catch them. The cops could not catch these people and prove their guilt as far as regular criminal charges, so they created this conspiracy law where now you can get that person. A good example of this is in organized crime. Typically, in organized crime, there's a hierarchy, and there's a head to the entire family. That head doesn't associate with the bottom feeders, the soldiers, the everyday kind of person. That head only deals with one or two people who then deal with the lower rung and etc. so on. So the person at the top is insulated from almost all of the criminal activity that's actually happening. He never touches any drugs or guns himself. He just receives the cash proceeds that come from whatever crimes are being committed. So the government's problem is they can't catch this person. They know he's guilty. They believe he's guilty, but they can't catch him because he's not actually doing anything criminal. So they create the conspiracy laws where now they could put that guy away for the rest of his life, even though they didn't actually catch him or are able to prove that he actually committed a crime. They created this new crime out of thin air for situations like that. In my life, I'll tell you two examples of where conspiracy laws should be outlawed as a result of things that happened in my life and in others as well. For me, the first one was when I got arrested on a big criminal case. My girlfriend, who was now my wife, was living with me on and off at that time, but had lived with me prior. So the government raids my house, they trash my shit, they destroy everything basically, and she went there because she knew they were going to come. So she went there to make sure my dogs didn't run away. To clean up whatever's there after they're done. And when they encountered her there, they started threatening her, telling her that she needs to cooperate and tell them everything she knows about me, or she's going to be charged with conspiracy for all of the things that I was doing, which makes no sense. Their argument was you had knowledge of his criminal activity because you lived with him. So you had to have known what he was doing. You were with him all the time. And because you didn't report it, you now are eligible to be found guilty of conspiracy. And you're facing the same amount of time that he is. So they basically told her, tell us everything. You're facing life in prison also. And he's done. He's never coming home. And my beautiful, amazing wife said exactly what I told her to say. And she told those cops to go fuck themselves. Take me to jail now. And she put her hands out. Arrest me. Take me now. But go fuck yourself. So the point of that story is, how ridiculous is that someone could be charged for something that they didn't even do, another person did, with or without their knowledge? Who cares? If a family member of mine is a criminal, I'm not going to fucking report them to the government. I'm not going to turn them in. But the fact that if the government can prove that I was aware of the fact that they were committing crimes and didn't report it, I could be found guilty of conspiracy. It's ridiculous. The other part in my life where I was affected by this was personally when I was charged with multiple counts of conspiracy. Going back to that organized crime example, same logic, same thing happened here. They were investigating me for a long time. All these agencies were working together in the surveillance, the wiretaps, the following, the vehicles all had tracking devices on them. There were helicopter surveillance at times. The Secret Service was asked to come in and help with the video surveillance during my case. And in all of this crazy investigation that took place, millions and millions of tax dollars were spent following me, trying to get me. And in the end, they could not get me. They could not prove that I was committing any crime. They didn't get me on film. I have these tapes, hours and hours of bullshit surveillance tapes. I go here, I go there, I meet with this person, I talk to this person. There's nothing on there. They have wiretaps. I barely ever spoke on the phone. The few times that I am caught on those wiretaps, and I have dozens of cassettes of all the wiretapping that they got on my investigation, I never talk about any criminal activity. I never admit to anything. So it was all for nothing. But what the conspiracy laws allowed them to do was charge me with a bunch of things and make me face decades in prison for each conspiracy count that they hit me with without even having caught me doing anything. It's bullshit. So, it just goes to show you guys that it's not a fair law in a country that prides itself on freedom and due process. It's not fair. If I'm a criminal and you're saying all these crazy things about me, all you got to do is prove it. Just catch me. Catch me red-handed. But don't charge me with bullshit and saying that I knew that these things were happening or I was planning on doing these things. That's another one I was charged with. Conspiracy to commit hijacking, kidnapping, impersonating law enforcement. All of this came, conspiracy to possess weapons, as a result of one conversation where an undercover state trooper, I'm sorry, not a state trooper, there was an undercover state trooper who was acting as a truck driver, not him. Another guy who was a rat, who was very close with one of my guys, who was tight with me. This fucking guy brought in a rat. And I had a bad feeling about that fucker from the beginning. And I only let it slide because my man vouched for him and said, I know this guy since we were little. I helped him out so much. I helped his family out. There's no way he'll betray us. Fucking rat did betray us. And he went into witness protection, him and his family. You fucking bitch motherfucker, coward. They were all gone. The day I got arrested, by that evening, they were all empty. All the apartments where all his relatives lived, him, everybody was gone in witness protection. That's how fucking scared he was. But nevertheless, guys, he recorded a conversation where we were discussing a hijacking, what they call a hijacking, and all these other things. They're saying that we're on tape saying that we're going to pull over this truck in police cars. We're going to take the driver out. There's the kidnapping right away and impersonating law enforcement. We're going to steal the truck, take the load, take off the tracking devices from the truck, and that was it. In those recordings, they also said that we were speaking about what to do if the cops came and that we were going to open fire immediately on the cops. Because of that one part of the conversation, the cops dealt with us in a very different way, considered us armed and dangerous, and were fearful in encountering us, interacting with us because of that conversation. And that came up in court, as a matter of fact, where the prosecutors were trying to explain to the judge why I'm such a dangerous person because of a conversation where I said I would shoot at police. Anyway, they're saying that that conversation and the fact that we then took an additional step in securing certain things that we were going to use during that heist, that we were guilty of conspiracy to commit all those crimes. Now, the problem with that is first of all, how do they know I would have done it? What if I changed my mind? What if I decided, you know what, this is not a good thing for me, I'm out? Or even worse, for somebody else, what if it was some fucking punk in that car who was really not about shit, who everybody knows could never fucking do something like that, but he's just trying to sound cool and get the approval of the other people with him, so he's going along saying, yeah, and talking big. He's also guilty of conspiracy. What about if that happens? The point is that no crime was actually committed. They created this crime saying that if you're planning to commit a crime, you're just as much guilty as if you actually did. Conspiracy to commit kidnapping, conspiracy to commit hijacking, these are the exact equivalent as far as the sentences that you're facing than actually having done them. So imagine that. If I murder somebody, I'm facing 30 to life. if I'm found guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, I'm facing 30 to life. They're not the same. These things are not the same. One is talk, and one is actually fucking taking life. There's a big, big difference. So, for these reasons and many others, guys, I think that it's bullshit that the government is allowed to get away with this kind of crap on us and charge us with conspiracy. Alright? You want to put people away, you want to be a fucking cop and chase after bad guys, do your fucking job and actually be able to prove their guilt in a court of law. If you can't do that, then step the fuck aside and get the fuck out of the way. Because destroying people's lives with this kind of bullshit ability that you have with conspiracy charges is fucked up and it's wrong. And I'm amazed that they were able to get this legislation through so many decades ago because of these organized crime families. All this shit came down and stuck, and now everyone else is getting hit with it. It's bullshit. So I'm interested in what you guys have to say about this. As always, if you think I'm wrong, please tell me. We always keep it civil in the comments. I'm not going to attack you. Just don't fucking disrespect me. But I am curious to hear how I'm wrong. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.